Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Thanks to everyone for joining. Hey there, Jolene. I see you just jumped on. Thanks for being here. Nice to see you virtually. It's been a while since we talked. I wanted to take a minute to introduce myself and introduce the rest of the team that's here today. Sorry, let me start my video so you can see my face. There I am. Hey, I'm Andy Clark. I'm a partner sales manager with Magento, an Adobe company. Been with Magento about 3 years now, 3.5. Started out as a strategic account manager in the customer success org, and I've been in the commercial partner organization for about 2.5 years now, and I manage relationships between Magento and a handful of partners, about 30 on the West Coast and kind of on into Texas, and that's why I have the privilege of working with the folks at Bluefish out of Austin. I'm in Temecula, California, which is about 60 miles due north of San Diego. David, I'm right down the road from you, it looks like. You're in Orange County. Well, I've been here 3 years. Before that, I spent 10 years as kind of an e-commerce startup jockey, building content teams and marketing teams, sales teams for a handful of pure play e-commerce retailers. Before that, I was in the telecom business. Actually, my first job out of college was selling cell phones to people and convincing them that they actually needed a mobile phone, if you can believe that. I got 2 kids. I'm a cycling addict, guitar player, and a content creator. And when I say that, I, in a previous life, did product reviews for a company called Competitive Cyclist. And to date, we've got about 200 product reviews on YouTube and approaching 6 million views. Parted ways with them earlier this year, launched my own little YouTube channel on the side, which is doing pretty well. It's just kind of a fun hobby. So I want to introduce Bluefish, Jasmine and Anthony, and they're going to tell you a little bit about why we're here and what we're going to do. This is an idea that I had not too long ago about sort of providing, they say snack size, it's easy to digest action upon, just something that I feel like sharing content with folks in this day and age has to be original and spontaneous and organic, and has to be something that you want to come back for week after week. It's not just another webinar. So that's our goal today. And I think that I'm going to turn it over to Jasmine. She's going to go a little deeper, and then Anthony's going to go a little deeper than that and tell you how this conversation and how this presentation is going to work. So with that, I'll take a breath and turn it over to Jasmine.
Hey guys, nice to meet you. I'm Jasmine. I'm with Bluefish Group. I originally made my way into designing e-commerce by way of entertainment experience design, which is where people see the advertising, they come into the space, and they have an immersive experience. So I've been able to actually trade that over into the e-commerce space, looking through user experiences, what motivates people to buy, and then how their experience ties to reality. When they come from an advertising, they make a purchase, and then they receive the product. Is that a cohesive story? And do they feel validated every step along the way? And now I'd like to turn it over to Anthony.
Hey guys, so Anthony McGregor. Yeah, I'm the e-commerce director at Bluefish Group. So I straddle the e-commerce and marketing side. I mean, really these days they go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. If you don't have the ability to market the products, you're not going to get customers, and you can't market something you don't have. So these platforms usually work well together, and that's the lens we'll be looking at the roast through today. I am a tech entrepreneur. I have built software startups before. One in particular I actually sold to HarperCollins, or licensed the technology, I guess. And I do like to make this joke, but I'm a digital native. I did send my first e-newsletter back in 1994. That's what they were called back then. And I guess it was a little bit nefarious at the time. I had scraped a bunch of email addresses from a competitor's bulletin board and sent them an email telling them to come and join mine. So maybe that was one of the first ever spam emails sent to.
Black hat.
So let's jump in for today's agenda. Hang on. So as Andy said, this is snackable content. It's really going to be quick, easy. We do have some fundamental things that we look at websites through, and we're trying to keep this very high level. So one caveat is every now and then we might get something wrong. We don't know a lot about every industry, but that's the point. We're really looking at this through the user experience. And so we like to try and not assume anything about a site Admittedly, sometimes a visitor to your site might have some very specific knowledge, but in general, a user experience is a user experience. So we're hoping through this that you guys get some clear tips, tricks, maybe even some direct actionable things that you can do to help improve your user experience on your site and help them along the path to purchase. So let me back out and we will reveal the site that we're roasting today. Give me a second. Here we go. Curbell Plastics.
Plastics!
We chose this site because it's a slightly different site, and usually I start off these by doing a little bit of a tech analysis. Obviously, we did this before, but what's really different about this site in particular is if we use my favorite tool, BuiltWith, to do a quick tech analysis, because the data is presented so well, you'll notice that they have a lot of great tech on this site already. They're using a lot of good marketing tech, such as HubSpot. It's not bad for B2B. They're using Sumo for things like pop-ups and email capture. That's always great to see on a site. They definitely got a lot of ad networks hooked in. So this tells me that this company definitely prioritizes marketing, and they're probably doing pretty well in the B2B space just because of the amount of platforms that they're in. However, as we scroll down, we're looking for an e-commerce platform, and we'll notice that they don't actually have a named platform here. We did do a bit of forensics before the call, and lo and behold, this site is homegrown. It's our first homegrown site that we're roasting through this webinar. Homegrown's great if you're wanting to get started and get small. However, you're going to hit a certain point where it's just not going to hold up. And fortunately for Curbell, it looks like they're still doing pretty well. But really, if you're not a software company that just happens to sell plastics on the side, running a homegrown platform is just setting yourself up for hurt in the long run. You've got a dev team that you have to maintain. There's probably some proprietary knowledge within one of your team members' heads who, if they ever left, that's going to be a lot of technical debt that you might incur. And so we always strongly advise against homegrown platforms. We're definitely big fans of some of the e-commerce providers out there, and the benefit is they're going to do all the heavy lifting for you. They're taking advantage of any technical advances that are happening in the space, from scripting languages through to SEO strategy. So that's a quick summary of the tech of this site, but hey, let's jump into the meat and potatoes here. Jasmine, homepage, knee-jerk reactions. What do you think? If this was a showroom, how would you be feeling if you walked in?
I love walking in here because the name is Curbell Plastics. They're showing me plastics. And then they say right there, plastic you want, when and where you need it. Like, this is what we do, you know, and they're showing me the different types of what they do. On brand, they've got just the blue and the green, and they're actually, scroll back up. And you've got the blue and the green and in the nav bar. And what they're calling out here is get a quote is in green, but anytime they actually have a color, they're letting that be the actual product. So the product gets to be the hero. The product gets to show that they are creative, that they have solutions for you. They're just letting their brand be their brand. Their brand is the frame and the product is the hero in the frame.
Scrolling down a little bit, gets a little bit messier down here. Jasmine's dog there in the background. I really like the idea that they've got a webinar on the homepage. We always say, and you'll hear us say this on every single webinar, your homepage is usually not your most highly trafficked landing page. When you look in your analytics tool, you'll notice that sure, your homepage in aggregate gets a decent amount of the overall percentage of traffic. It gets a decent number of hits, but as a overall percentage of your website's traffic, your homepage is usually one of your lowest entered pages. Most people are coming to a site through a product description page or a category page or some link you've sent them to. Point is that the homepage should be much more about validating that the user's in the right place. It's more of a research part, but it's also communicating to your users any changes or updates. So I love that the webinar is there. I guess the question I would have is, I kind of feel this webinar gets buried a little bit, right, Jasmine? There's, it's not really clear to me right now that this webinar is something I might want to be interacting with.
Yeah, agree. There's a bit too much. There's the headline, there's a paragraph description, and then there's bullet points. And I'd really prefer to just, you know, either get rid of one or the other, where watch webinar now is just a little bit more prominent. And maybe it's a shorter descriptor, like, here is a webinar about different kinds of plastics. End scene, like, get to the point. If all of these bullet points, I don't know if they're relevant. Am I going to learn that on the webinar? And if so, maybe that's just the list. This is what you'll learn on the webinar. Click here. Because there's a lot of copy right now, and I don't know if this computer is getting you anything as it relates to the webinar. Not sure.
And that's something we see really common in B2B sites as well. You know, B2B, it's manufacturing. You've got engineers, really smart people doing really smart things. Oftentimes, though, we'll find that they do tend to be a little bit verbose on the text. There is something I do love on the homepage, though, and this is something that we always encourage in B2B, the get a quote concept. You know, it's B2B. You're not always going to have something your customers want. Their time is precious, and oftentimes people just want to use get a quote as a shortcut to even potentially submit their order. But the get a quote option is also a great way to maybe start a conversation between a sales rep and a visitor. Let's check out the get a quote. You know, we do focus a lot on product detail pages and category pages, but hey, this is a fundamentally critical part of the site. Ooh, gee, out of the gate, there's, I can see a serious problem here with the user experience. What happened in my brain just then as this page loaded is I thought if I'm trying to get a quote and I plug my email address in here, this account sign-in is signing in with that email address. I can immediately
So I can't get a quote unless I'm a member?
Yeah, that's what it potentially feels like. Or I can see probably what usually happens on this page. Somebody will just skip over this top form because they think it's part of sign-in. They'll go through, and I can guarantee we probably will not see another email capture here. Oh, damn, that's a lot of mandatory fields as well. I can guarantee you if we put tracking on this page right now, we would probably notice one of the most common things is that somebody will get to here, put in a lot of their information, hit submit
Maybe
quote,
half of their information?
Well, if they had to, we're forcing them to put in everything right now. Hit submit quote and it'll throw an error. And the reason why is because they didn't put in their email address here. So definitely I would redesign this form out of the gate. Go on, Jasmine.
Well, for me, this kind of a thing is, here you have a person who's interested in getting a quote who wants to spend money with you. And the first thing you hit them up with is, give me all your information. And I'm like, dude, wine me, dine me first. Like, let's have a conversation, make a funny joke, maybe buy me a drink, and then I'll give you my number. But when you start off mining me for, I know my information's precious. I know that's why you want it, but you're just going to spam me and I'm not going to get what I want, which is a quote. So I'd rather have that quote experience go a little bit more with like, what kind of plastic are you looking for? What do you need it for? This is how we can help you. And you know what? Your problem sounds really awesome and complicated. We're going to call you. Can we get your phone number? We really want to make sure that we're servicing your needs. And all of this extra information that's mandatory, do you really need it? Because in my point of view, if you guys are good enough, you're going to get my information over time when you need it, but only on my terms. I don't need, because by the way, if I have to fill out this form, I'm going to give you my junk email address anyway. Everyone's got like 3 junk email addresses. So what value are you really getting by pushing too hard for emails up front?
I don't know if in B2B they give it a junk email address, but what I don't like is they're mandating that the country and region, this is all redundant information right now. At this stage of the relationship, it doesn't matter if they're in the USA or not. They're asking for a quote.
It might, because plastics have laws and rules and chemicals. So maybe,
but if this
maybe
is a
they're
barrier,
like, hey, if we know.
Yeah,
I'd rather find that information out on the quote side. Like if I am putting in my information from New Zealand, I'd rather find out, oh, by the way, you're in New Zealand. Like other countries have light bulb, issues. You can't ship certain light bulbs into that country. So I think the country thing could matter, but I want to get a quote,
Don't ask me for all this information up front before I've decided that I want to get in bed with you.
I just got handed a bunch of homework. Do I have time for homework? No, I want a quote.
So the next thing we always like to do on any site is experience the search experience. These days, people are conditioned to be able to type a couple of letters into a search box and bam, here's all of the results that they need in one go. Let's take a look at the search and see what the experience is here. So we'll click on the search box and I'm gonna maybe type signs maybe. Let's see what we get back.
You gotta spell signs right if you wanna give that search.
Oh, oops.
Don't
it's been a long day already.
Fail.
It's been a long day already. So this is not a bad search experience. It returned the results fast. I do want to type it in one more time up the top here to see what happens if I actually put the right spelling in up the top. And it's a nice fast response. However, we notice this a lot on B2B sites as well. A user is used to these days typing letters in as they go and having search results come up. What that's doing is helping them validate that the words they're using right now are potentially going to be returning the results they are expecting. One of the frustrating experiences for a user here will be, I will type a word in, maybe it's signs or maybe it's sign making, and I have to hit enter wait for the results to come back before I decide, oh, that was the wrong search, I need to try again. And so giving the user validation before they hit enter that the words they're typing are giving them remotely the right results, it just improves the user experience, helps them navigate the site a little bit faster. What do you think about the search results though, Jasmine? There's they're kind of dry, aren't they? There's not a lot here that's helping me visually get to where I need to get to.
They're pretty dry, and I think we've seen on some other pages better search results where they actually have pictures of these products, something that represents things where you can scan a little bit quicker using the human eye, which is the best scanning tool in the universe. There's nothing that rivals it yet as far as calculating that information quickly. Give me something to look at.
I do like the tab navigation up the top here that's showing a breakdown between your products and the resources and the information. This is good. And again, we do see this a lot on B2B sites. Their catalog is kind of treated as this separate piece of information on the site. It's actually a great user experience to bundle together different search results into the one and then separate them via tab. So this is actually a nice experience here. I'm going to jump into a product that we were thinking about before. Let me take a look here.
Ooh, the sample pack.
Yeah, let's jump into the sample pack. Yeah. Knee-jerk reactions, Jasmine, go.
Oh, well, first of all, it's very clean, but I feel like they could improve that purchase funnel. And the first thing that I ask when I look at this site is, let me get my draw tool ready. What are these? What are these doing? So I think there's a world where maybe I am sending plastic things to someone on site and saying, is this what you need from a purchasing point of view? I'm trying to communicate with my team. Is this the thing that you want me to need? Or I'm sending this to my purchaser and saying, please buy this. The print function, I'm not as sure about. Anthony, I know you had some good feedback about.
Yeah, we've done some research, and definitely managers and owners of these types of businesses, or the companies that might be buying, they do tend to be sometimes a little older. There's definitely a world in which your buyer might actually be preferring some sort of print version of this. And maybe you've got a junior procurement person who's going through printing out the stuff they think the boss will be interested in and then putting it on their desk. So I think printing product detail pages in the B2B world absolutely makes sense. But maybe we'd want to check to see it going. Yeah, maybe it's not there.
Maybe it's just not there. Maybe it's actually down here.
And you could test that out by just seeing how many people click. And maybe you don't need it at all. Maybe it is a redundant thing. You know, the demographic is getting younger. And what you'd want to do is check to see, hey, are people even clicking print these days? If they're not, get rid of it. It's redundant information at that point, and it's cluttering the product detail page. Jason, what does it look like if you actually block out the share and print?
Yeah, if you start getting rid of some of this stuff and making it move down. I know we haven't gotten to the warning yet, but for instance, if you move the warning somewhere else, let's see if we move this warning just over here to the side, we're clearing up a lot of information here. Also, same with the descriptor. Actually, the descriptor looks fine there. The only other thing I would say here is that you do have, let me get my draw tool ready. You have a nice relationship here, $14.95 each, quantity 1, subtotal. And if you actually start adding to that, you can immediately see your subtotal go up, which I do like. But these are just too far away from each other. And I think the brain does not connect those. So since that is a very nice flow of A to B to C, I would tighten that up or stack it vertically, a lot more like, you know, early education math where you have that A plus B plus C equals X or D, pick your alphabet. And from a button point of view, you know, I know they've been very, very good.
I know where you're going. I know where you're going here. You and your buttons.
They've been very, very good about blue and green. Is there an accent color that makes the
accent
button
colors? Jasmine
a little bit better?
Those are accent colors.
Just
always
one.
with the orange.
Just a little. Well, you know, I got the orange from Amazon, one of the biggest purchasers on the planet. You know,
and
they've done probably more research than I ever have.
Yeah.
That is something that you can test with your site. I mean, I do really appreciate that the site is very muted and again, lets the product be the hero and them be just the frame. But at this page, the point of this page is click buy. And so if you start removing some of this stuff of the confusion, and that's another design thing, if you want something to be important, put a lot of white space around it. So if you were to tighten up this 14 to 4 to subtotal, just bring that under the headline a little bit more, and then you have your buy button, and then everything is a little bit more white. the customer has less choices to get lost, to get confused, to get distracted, to hear a barking dog and look away.
Just
get
out of the way. Get out of the way
Yeah.
of their experience. You're not as important
Yes.
as you think you are.
Make it easy for your purchasers to buy. Make it easy for them to buy. But let's
A couple of thoughts
I
have here. The description, I appreciate there's a lot of good detail in there, but it's also kind of hard to read. Ideally, you know, I'm busy. I might not want to spend my time looking through each of these. And even when I try, I'm looking at it now, it's a little bit hard for me to see where the breaks are in the information. Maybe that should be a list of bullet points rather than commas. And I'd love to see a few more product images there. But we know in the B2B space, product images can be hard to come by. So let's go and add something to the cart. Let's clear out that there, Jasmine. There we go. Add to the cart. And we're going to add 4. That's nice. That's a nice add to cart experience. One of the things we love about
you know why? Because you added it to the cart and the whole world didn't end.
Exactly. Oftentimes in B2B, for whatever reason, when the user hits add to cart, they're taken to an entirely separate page.
Goodbye. And they're just thrown off a cliff into nowhere land.
It's the cart page. It's what's in the cart. But now I have to go back to continue browsing. Or maybe I wasn't finished looking at this product. But also one of the other things, the other extreme alternative to that is somebody will hit add to the cart and almost nothing happens. So this is a really, really nicely designed experience where when I hit add to cart, I get a tiny little notification validating that the action I took was right. And I can continue to browse the site.
18 things in your cart.
I do. Yeah, I'm probably going to be using these as samples. But let's check out what happens when we go to the cart. Oh, homegrown for the win. Ooh, damn.
Maybe this is why it wasn't taking us to the cart, because the cart's broken.
Yeah, what's going on here?
I mean, we were just raving about this experience. Maybe it's because it's actually not working.
That's really interesting. I don't think we did anything wrong to create that. There's a world in which maybe I can't go any further without signing in, but if that's the case, tell me. At this point, I'm done. I'm out of the site. I've spent my time looking at the products. I've added them to the cart.
I was going to buy,
and now you've kind of gotten in my way.
I mean, do I have to call them?
I mean, there isn't even a phone number on the error page, and that's a great example. You know, definitely with these types of error pages, 404 pages, especially on e-commerce, B2B sites, you should have contact information there. Respect your buyer's time. They're busy. You've just thrown an error on your site. They want to get stuff done. Maybe even on the error page, you have like
now I'm going to Amazon.
What's that?
Just given up. I've just given up. I'm just going to go to Amazon.
But maybe you've got like a fast dial number where somebody can get like urgent support, because you've got someone who's add to cart, and now we have this error. Obviously, this error page might not know that the user got there through add to cart. But again, on e-commerce, just have some good contact information maybe on your error page. But I'm glad they're looking into it. Yeah, I'm sure the developers are going to have to stay awake late tonight.
Ooh, click on the phone number. What happens when you click on the phone number? Does it like want to make a?
It opens up. I'm on a Mac, so it triggers the make a call. Yeah. I'm just conscious of time. There is one other thing we want to look at really quickly, and then we'll go to questions. The category pages. You know, we do like our category pages to see what's here. Knee-jerk reactions to category pages, Jasmine.
Ooh, go to buy material.
2 minutes or less. Go where?
Oh, go to shop materials, buy material.
Oh, okay. You want me to go back one?
On Sanders shop materials, then go to buy material. You're in buy category.
Oh, okay. Buy material. Sorry. Yeah.
I think this is the page that I liked a lot because, and is this a homegrown thing? What's
homegrown
here?
Gotta love that homegrown. Wow.
What could they be doing to speed that up? Is that a code issue? Is that an image size
I have
problem?
no idea because it's homegrown. So.
Interesting.
I mean, we try not to be too mean to people's sites, but this is a roast, and I guess you get
so
what you get.
the reason that I liked this page is because I've actually shopped for plastics before, specifically in the design experience industry. I was creating museums. I had to get a lot of acrylic stands to hold jewelry, special props, Harry Potter wands, you name it. Like, we had to do that. So for me, shopping by materials here, I can see what I'm getting because it's very important. And let's pretend I was a designer in a former life for that. Seeing the color, the texture, the feeling, how much light it reflects. If I can do, a light up edge on the acrylic side, is all very important. And again, they're letting the color all be in the product photos and be the hero. No one but the product is competing for attention right now, which I love because that means they're going to purchase something. you know, they're not getting too caught up in who they are and what they do. Oh, and you know what we didn't see on the product page? Any reviews.
True. Yeah,
Maybe
reviews
people
are
don't
good.
review plastics, but maybe they do, and you're just not.
And it could be, again, if you're thinking that your product page is maybe the first landing page that people come into, remember, you should have some validation on your product pages that you're a reputable company. So company reviews is fine, product reviews is better, maybe some idea of a warranty or a guarantee. I know we're out of time. And I
we
do
didn't even get to talk about this though.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is something I noticed as I was clicking. This, to me, is not the best experience. I have not a lot of time, and now I have 6 things I can select here. But actually, no, I have a way more.
But it's not just 6.
Yeah, there's
it's
way
like
more.
12 times 12 times 12.
So ideally in layered navigation, you should present the user with all options up front, because it's just another way that a lot of people browse your catalog. So we're out of time. Curbell Plastics.
Oh, try it on mobile. We're out of time.
We are out of time.
We got to chat for the try.
David, I know you're a big advocate of mobile. You championed it before.
Yeah.
We do have a limited time, but you know what? For people who are attending, maybe shout out in the chat if you think next time we maybe should prioritize mobile first. I think with the time we have, we can only prioritize one version or another. We like doing the desktop, obviously. Let's be honest, we're on Zoom. It's much easier to do this, but hey, if people want us to, we can. Because
mobile's like where like 80% of purchases happen now. So I think he's got a really good point.
It's creeping up in B2B for sure.
No,
let's see if we got questions, and I guess I'll turn it back over to you, Andy, to wrap and help moderate any questions we might have.
Okay, cool. Thanks for that, Anthony. Jasmine, that was really good. Looks like we only have a few folks left. So with that, let's open it up for questions in the no minutes that we have left. David, John, Joy, Mark, any questions from you guys?
Or anything you want us to revisit? Okay.
Cool.
Give it a second to see if anyone's typing. Time is tight today. Yeah. Okay. I mean, this is fun. We enjoy doing this and looking at sites. Oh, John says he's muted. Ben, is there a way we can unmute participants real quick?
Yeah, let's get that peanut gallery going.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, thanks.
Hey, this is great. Live feedback.
Yeah, I just wanted to say really enjoyed it, and that I hope you'll roast my website sometime.
Sure, John, what's your site?
What? I don't know.
We'll do it in 2 weeks.
Am I asking for? No, I've got a thick skin, but we just we got Bluefish's help for doing a API integration for our website that integrates our page with our vendor, and and so we're kind of newbies, and it's on BigCommerce. So BigCommerce takes care of a lot of kind of the background stuff you were talking about, but you know, I wouldn't mind. But
absolutely,
also,
John, with your permission, we'll tee you up next for sure.
Okay, and be brutal. I don't care. And I just wanted to say I made a page of notes here. So
good.
Stuff you're saying was new concepts to me, and stuff you try to think through when you're designing. But it's nice to get validation and get some good ideas. So.
Great, we appreciate it. I mean, we do this stuff for fun, right? Literally, I know.
Me too.
These glasses don't nerd themselves.
All right, any other questions from anyone? If not, we'll wrap. And yeah, Ben will follow up with you to tee up your site. But I'm sure Nikki, I know Nikki was a developer who's working on your stuff. Yeah, she'll be thrilled as well. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right. What do you reckon, Andy? Is that a wrap?
That's a wrap, guys. Really good today. Enjoyed it.
No worries. Have a good evening.
For your time. We'll see you all in 2 weeks.
Thanks a lot.
See you in 2 weeks.
Thanks, everybody.
Cheers.